Hey guys, and welcome to Should You Buy It, where all we do is talk a little bit about the game and tell you whether or not we think it's worth the cost.
I need to get over there and start reviving people.
In this episode, we'll be playing Starship Troopers Extermination, the game that puts you in the shoes of an actual soldier trying to survive against the arachnid threat. Now, the first question that we always cover in these videos is what stage of development is the game in? And in the case of Starship Troopers Extermination, it is currently in early access and available on PC for $25. Now, if you guys want to save money on games, you should check out Humble Bundle in the description below. Humble Bundle will not only help to give you a discount on games sometimes, but will also help charity and support this channel. Everything you purchase on Humble Bundle will go towards helping a charity, helping our channel, and giving you some kind of a discount if there's a discount running on that game, which they have tons of discounts that Steam does not all the time. And again, if you want to save money, just check out Humble Bundle down below by clicking the link. But what exactly is this game? Well, Starship Troopers is probably one of the most accurate interpretations of the original movies into a video game format that we have ever seen. It truly immerses the player into the shoes of a Starship Trooper that is a ground soldier fighting for their lives against the arachnid threat. The game is currently broken up into two main game modes with a planned third, as well as one map, 3 classes, and an account progression leveling system. The two game modes are Advance and Secure and Arc Defense. In Advance and Secure, you and your team of up to 15 other players will have to travel to complete a series of different objectives. After that, you will need to defend an arc with essentially an infinite amount of resources that you can build your base with. You'll have to be quick though, as you'll only have about 2 minutes to a minute and a half to actually set up the base that you're going to be defending with. Finally, you'll need to defend the arc for about 10 minutes while being attacked by arachnids that are spawning in ridiculously large numbers. Then you'll simply head over to the extraction point and attempt to escape with as many troopers as you possibly can. The second game mode, which is Arc Defense, is what the game has arguably been designed around, at least at this point in time. It will have you and your team of 15 other troopers defending your spawn point, as well as gathering minerals, gas, and side objectives in order to help you defend against an ever-increasing arachnid threat. All of these different objectives will need to be done simultaneously, and therefore on higher difficulties it will require you and your team to have a lot of coordination if you want to succeed. For an example, some of your team may need to defend the base while others take out an infestation, and then another group is focusing on gathering resources and completing side objectives. Once your team is ready and you've gathered enough gas and minerals for your base, you'll then need to defend your base for approximately a 10-minute time period while the arachnoid hordes start to try to break it down. Regardless of if you succeed or not, you'll then have to move to the extraction point and try to survive with as many troopers as possible. At the moment, however, both of these game modes are currently taking place on a single map. You can, however, spawn on many different locations, and there are many different randomly generated objectives that can appear across the map at different places. This does definitely help to keep things a bit more interesting, as you won't always be doing the exact same thing or taking the exact same path even though you're playing on the exact same map. In order to play the Arc Defense game mode though, you will need to reach level 5 on your account before you're able to play it. Currently, this only takes maybe 5 or 6 games, so it's not too bad. You won't only be leveling up your account though, as there is also a need to level up your classes to help you become a better trooper. Every one of the 3 different classes currently starts out with a pretty standard loadout, but as you progress through them, the levels of each one of those classes, new weapons, perks, grenades, and utility items will unlock for you to choose from. These can be all sorts of different things like more ammo, or even grenade launchers and ammo stations that you can place down. This will also give you something to progress and work towards as you defend against that ever-increasing arachnoid threat.
Run and gun.
Good job, boys.
Alrighty, now let's move over to the pros and cons section of the video. First up for the pros is that the combat really felt like it immersed me into the gameplay, with things like a single arachnoid taking almost a full clip of the starting weapon and dozens if not hundreds of arachnoids assaulting you. I honestly felt like I was in a movie actually taking place as a ground soldier while fighting for my life. Next is that the game has a pretty simple yet intuitive building system. While not the simplest to learn, the controls for it are still pretty simple to understand and it feels rewarding to use. So even if you're at the base all day trying to defend and build it up, you won't feel like you're wasting your time. After that is that the progression system for the classes gives you something to work towards that is meaningful to your gameplay. I know some people aren't big fans of progression systems in games, but personally it always felt nice to have something new unlocked, like a new weapon or utility item, as it made me feel more powerful and like I was getting something for putting in the time I was putting into the game. Finally is that the combat just felt really solid and smooth to use. The gunplay overall really starts to immerse you in the game because you're using such a large amount of ammunition on all of these different bugs that are trying to take you down. While there certainly is a meta at the moment, which I won't say because of spoilers, I'll just say that anytime you're shooting an arachnid, it just feels really good, and it's a hard feeling to describe because it's not like Call of Duty where it feels super smooth, but it does feel extremely rewarding and it does help to immerse you into the gameplay when you have to dump a full magazine just to kill one bug. Alrighty, now for the cons. First up for the cons is that the game currently has some pretty bad balancing issues. Again, I don't want to spoil all this, but I'm just going to use one for an example. Right now, the medic drone whenever you're playing the support class is pretty overpowered. It has a 3-minute cooldown and lasts for about 2 minutes and will instantly revive anybody who goes down within a certain radius of you. This is stupidly broken because it can also revive yourself if you go down. I don't really know the best way to fix this, but there are lots of other situations like this where the game just feels like it needs some major balancing. Next up is the fact that there is currently only one map right now. Again, this along with the balancing one will probably change in the future, but right now only having one map, it does get a bit stale even if there is some uniqueness to each run. After that is that the classes currently feel pretty unimpactful. They really only have one little ability they're able to use that really helps to make them distinct and different from the other classes. Now do keep in mind with this con section that a lot of these are things that will probably be fixed in the future and are just due to the fact that it's in early access, but nonetheless they're things that you do need to be aware of at the current time in this game. And so now it's time for the rating for the game itself though, and when we rate games we want to get 1 hour of enjoyment out of every $1 that the game costs. So for this game in particular, in Starship Troopers Extermination, we would want to get roughly 25 hours of enjoyment out of the $25 cost of the game. And normally we would give you one single rating, but in this case we strongly feel like the game deserves 2 different ratings since the game is probably going to be extremely different as it moves out of early access. Keep in mind this game was made by the developers of Squad, who have added a ton of content to their game throughout their early access process, so we do have high hopes that the devs will actually continue to put things into this game. Now with all of that being said, this first rating is going to be the rating that we're going to give for the game in its current state. This means the value that you're going to get out of the game right now if you purchased it today and didn't worry about what might or might not come out in the future. And we would currently give it 6 out of 10 potatoes. And the reason for that is, like we discussed earlier, it is having some major balance problems, and overall it just seems like it's lacking in content. Again, currently that is the case, but we don't think it will be forever, which is why we're giving it this second rating, which is how I feel like you should consider treating it if you think you'll enjoy this game in the long term, and that is 9 out of 10 potatoes. And those are 2 very different ratings. Again, that 9 out of 10 is representing what the game might be if the devs follow through with all of their promises, such as adding more maps, adding more content for you to experience, adding the other bugs that are currently not in the game that we see in the movies, and all the different things that you would expect in this game to come. But at the end of the day, Starship Troopers Extermination is easily the best Starship Trooper game out there at this point in time. It truly immerses the player into the world of an actual Starship Trooper, and while the game is currently lacking some content, it's not necessarily bad by any means, and the foundation for the game is definitely there. And therefore, we feel that Starship Troopers Extermination is probably worth the cost, at least for right now. In the future, it'll probably definitely be worth the cost, but we'll just have to see what the devs do. Before you guys go, I do want to give you a quick thank you for watching the video. Like it if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and share if you've got some friends that might be interested. Either way, I want to give a big shout out to our Platinum and Above channel members, which currently include Caustic FPV, Jonathan S, Gerald89, AZ Blackbird, and Jim Phillips. Thank you all so much for watching once again. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you in the next one.